What's good, y'all? It's your girl Tati, and I'm back with another review of Dark Side of the Ring. And you guys, I gotta say it right off the bat, this was a very underwhelming episode to me. Based on everything that we've gotten this season from the show, I just felt like this was just not a good way to end it off. Like, this is one of those episodes that could have been in the middle of the season or whatnot. Like, there's so much more to be desired with this episode. It felt like to me this was, they were talking about the steroid trial, but then they were also talking about that love affair between Vince McMahon and his lawyer, who's gotten him out of a lot of deep shit over the years. And it almost felt like he talked about himself. Sure, he's a great lawyer, and he's helped WWE and Vince McMahon get out of a lot of situations. And, Vince could have been doing 8 years of his life in prison. And if had it not been for him, he would have been locked up, and we wouldn't even be talking about wrestling at this capacity today. But I just feel like Vince McMahon, he wasn't convicted for, conspiring to distribute steroids. So while that may be true or maybe not true, when it comes to law, if there's no evidence, then you could just walk away, whether you did it or not. There needs to be proof. And out of everyone who testified, only Nails was the only one who, basically was going against him as far as steroids go, distributing steroids. Like, he knew everything that was going on. So the doctor who was prescribing this, like, he was literally just walking around with a bag just full of steroids and other types of narcotics that people normally get addicted to. And some of them were even saying, hey, I never bought from him, his prices are too damn high. Some people didn't even really say that they've never done it. Many of them said that they've done it even before they got to WWF. And that may be the case, but we're talking about WWF at that time. Like, did Vince McMahon ever encourage you to get steroids? Did he recommended anything? Like, they want to be able to get Vince McMahon. Now, here's the issue with this, is that I feel like they didn't dive deep enough into the situation. Like, we've seen since episode 1 of Dark Side of the Ring that drugs has been like a huge issue with professional wrestling and sports in general, but with professional wrestling, you can't stop people from leaving and go buying cocaine and all types of drugs. But the thing is if you have a business and your doctor who is taking care of everyone on your roster, who's taking everybody to the back and saying, hey, show me what hurts, here, let me give you some steroids, that's what's going to help you, you can't turn a blind eye to that. I feel like he probably did turn a blind eye to it. Obviously he knew, definitely knew. I mean, if you look at some of these guys back in the day, like, I would just look at like Ultimate Warrior, just be like, yo, how do you even achieve this naturally? Some of them, just, you could just look at them and already assume that they're probably taking steroids. Now with steroids, it's not that it wasn't illegal. A doctor can prescribe that to you and say, hey, this is based on, they're wrestlers. They're wrestling, 6 nights a week. They're tired as fuck. They don't go home or anything. They're in a whole bunch of pain. This is why I prescribed this to them. And it just seemed perfectly normal. But now you're in this world with professional wrestling where Vince McMahon fantasizes about big physiques and everything, and he wants you to look a certain type of way. Other people want you to look a type of way. And, having that muscular body, that's part of the market. When you're being an action figure, people wants that cool looking action figure, not some scrawny looking dude. Someone like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, like, these are the type of guys that, younger children would want to snatch off the shelves because they just look really cool. The women love how they look, and the guys want to look like that too. So it's so marketable. But I do think that personally, Vince McMahon just has something when it comes to jacked up dudes. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, I've never understood like what that is. Like, that just don't make sense to me. I've been watching wrestling too long to even care about physiques anymore. Like that muscular thing, it used to be like, oh my gosh, he looks so damn good, and now it's just like, seen it all my whole most of my life, so it does nothing for me. But I can see like it can be like a lot of pressure to look a certain type of way, to perform a certain type of way. Seeing how people like Hulk Hogan, who was basically carrying the world of professional wrestling on his fucking back, he was so popular you didn't even have to watch wrestling to know who he was. He was every fucking where. So once his name was brought up into this whole trial, people were just shocked, like, whoa, Hulk Hogan. When the FBI raided the doctor's home, and they're seeing packages to be sent to Terry, who's Hulk Hogan. Like, they're like, whoa, okay, this guy personally knows him, and he's shipping off um, steroids in a fucking FedEx box to several people, and Hulk Hogan being one of them. And it's like, whoa, that's what really brought the whole thing to light, as far as what the hell is going on with this doctor who's just giving out steroids and WWF. And that pretty much is what started the whole thing for them to be in the spotlight, where the media was just having a fucking field day with this. And, you know, there was just nothing but headlines about WWF during this time. And, you know, ultimately it went to trial. And personally, this lawyer, he's just talking about how great of a job he did. Nothing wrong with tooting your own horn, but I was just like, okay, bro, let's hear something we don't know. And to me, I feel like it just didn't go that way. Like, he's showing his office, he got pictures of him and Vince everywhere, and I'm just like, bro, um, are you the reason for Vince and Linda's divorce? It just felt so fucking weird, and I was like, okay, we get it. Like, what else here? While everyone else pretty much kind of had like negative things to say towards Vince McMahon. Like, I don't want to make it seem like he's like some monster fucking heel in real life, which I do think he is, but he's a fucking genius as well too. And it's like, just because you were able to defend him and make him look good doesn't mean that you know, he didn't have any part in this at all. He even talked about how the doctor, he was in prison. They took him out of prison for 44 days. They were sending him to all types of prison, basically to intimidate him, so that before that he could testify in a trial against Vince McMahon. They had blackmail him, saying, oh, we have a recording with you and another person talking about distributing steroids to underage children. And I don't know, I guess that took him by surprise, and he decided that he wanted to testify against Vince McMahon about that, saying that, hey, you know, we were kind of in cahoots with this whole thing. And, you know, and the lawyer was like, you know, he didn't buy that for 1 minute, because it was all blackmail because of another situation. I do feel like 100% Vince McMahon was totally in the know about what was going on as far as steroids use going with the wrestlers in the company. Like, it just doesn't make sense that you just wouldn't know. He probably even seen people using this, and he probably even recommended it as well, especially with people like Hulk Hogan at the top, and wanting him to be something that he's envisioning in his mind. I can totally see him telling Hulk Hogan that, hey man, you need to keep this physique going. And sometimes that's difficult. Working out in the gym, at some point your body is just exhausted, especially with all the wrestling and stuff, and you probably can't keep that physique. So now you have something like steroids that would help enhance that and keep you going. And I just feel like they just didn't really go there with this episode compared to everything else that we've gotten. So it was a little bit disappointing to me. They should have also talked about how, you know, that trial, how that made things go as far as their wellness policy and everything. Because there's just no way, no one's going to tell me that even after the whole steroid trial, that no one in the WWF wasn't using steroids. You know how many times I looked at Triple H and I was like, hmm, you know, like I just, there's just no way. I'm pretty sure there's been times where they've been able to get away with certain things, but I feel like they didn't talk about how that trial affected their wellness policy going forward from there. It just felt a little underwhelming for me. Personally, I just feel like, you know, if you want to be part of a sport, um, you're gonna have to just do things the natural way, because I guess that's fair. So for you to use something to enhance your performance or whatnot, it just, you know, makes things a little bit unfair or whatnot. And Vince McMahon, I do feel like he had something to do with a few people taking steroids right now. And God, if you look at Vince, you can't tell me he's never done it himself. This guy is huge, and even today, what is he, like 76, 77 ish or whatnot? And it's like, wow, he still looks great. He can probably take steroids. I mean, he just owns the company. It's not like he's performing in the ring or whatnot, so he probably could take steroids. But I mean, there's been times where I just was like, yo, whoa, he is way too damn big. And, you know, after all these years, it's like you would think that, you know, all types of body types, all types of wrestling styles are, um, you know, encouraged. And while it is, I feel like with WWE, sometimes it's just like Mr. Man looks at somebody and just was like, okay, we're getting him because he just looks the part, and they ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like Great Khali and shit. Like, you're just not that great in the ring, but you have something marketable. And when it comes to business, money, 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 and that's all it is. And Hulk Hogan, Jesus Christ, like, I don't know, he never really done it for me. But I can totally see why it was a huge issue with Hulk Hogan even being involved in this, because during this time people just idolize him like some god or whatnot. Someone telling you to eat your vitamins and say your prayers, like, and he's doing steroids, like, what the hell? They showed a clip when he went to the Arsenio Hall show, and he's just like, man, I took it like 2 or 3 times, like 40 years ago, because my back was hurting. What he said, he had like muscle pain or something like that. He was just trying to just say it was just for pain. It had nothing to do with me wrestling. I wasn't feeling well, and this is what the doctor prescribed for me to take, and it happened to be steroids, and I took it like once or twice. And it's like, okay, you expect us to believe that? Like, look at you. Like, people can assume, but there's just no way that the day that they raid the doctor's house, that they see a box with your name to be shipped to your house, and when they open the box, it's steroids. Like, and you claim you only taken it like 2 or 3 times in your life. Definitely not believable. And I think, like, with him making that comment also didn't make him look good at all as well. And it was just like a really messy time for WWE, because they also had a sex scandal going on at the same time, which they didn't even mention at all in the show. Not that they had to, because it was about the steroid trial, but that was going on as well too, because that type of information was also being put out in the media as well. And you know, like I said, I was really disappointed with this episode. I just felt like it just wasn't enough. Matter of fact, they had enough time to take this for 2 fucking hours if they wanted to. And I realized what the show is, some of the more interesting topics, a lot of information is just let out. I know there's only so much you can do in an hour, sure. But you see how they've had episodes where it was an extra hour. You know, I think Pillman episode was 2 hours maybe. Chris Benoit episode was 2 hours. I guess you can say it was more of a popular thing to drag out the Chris Benoit story, and I think they actually did a really good job with that. But certain topics, they could have really given out way more information. and this is definitely one of them. And some of them were like so interesting that I would just go ahead and just look up information on my own, and I'm like, whoa, well, why didn't they talk about this during the show? There's a lot of interesting things. For next season, honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do. I feel like um, people are not gonna want to talk, especially after that Plane Ride from Hell episode. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking. Certain things that you say could possibly come out, wrong. Maybe they could edit it in a way to make it look like you said something when they ask you about something. So if you watch a lot of reality TV shows, stuff like that do seem to happen a lot. But if you said something, they like, what could they possibly do? They can't make you say something. So if you said something, then you said it. And a lot of people are going to think twice before coming onto the show. And that's another thing about this show. With this episode as well, had they had people who were really involved with the story, especially wrestlers, I do think that it would have helped help tell the story a lot, rather than hearing the lawyer just glorify himself and Vince McMahon for a fucking hour. There were some reporters or whatnot who were also in the episode, but it wasn't what I pretty much wanted from this at all. A lot of people thought that, oh wow, after the episode they're gonna be on the news, people gonna be talking about it just like how they did with Ric Flair. And honestly, this was nothing, 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 nothing. So I don't see anything coming from this. But man, season 4, I just don't know. I can see them coming back based on popularity, but there's a big chance that people are not gonna want to come and talk about things, and that I think hurts the show with a lot of topics. A lot of these episodes, it's like, man, if they had so and so to come and talk, this would be just so much better. And I don't know. People are definitely going to think twice about coming on the show. I'm not sure what type of topics I would like to see for season 4. But man, I just hope they get a lot more people who are willing to talk about certain things. And it just goes to show, like, Vince McMahon still has a lot of pull in this industry. Like, even when you're not fucking with him, you don't want to talk about him. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, even the people who don't like you probably don't want to talk about you because they know how powerful you are in this industry, right? So it's like some people just gonna feel like, well, even if Vice called me to do an interview, I'm not gonna say anything, or I'm just gonna hold back a lot. And me, I just don't feel like that's just the right way to go. Yeah, I just want to say rest in peace to New Jack, because every time he was on a show, like, he gave it to you how it is, and that's something that I appreciate, because you can really feel like everything he's saying is truthful, and like, he tells you how it is, unlike other people where they might hold back saying certain things because they're afraid of how that might affect them in their career or whatnot, and relationships with other people. So I mean, it's just is what it is. I am looking forward to another season, and I can't wait to see what they got out. And I don't know what I'm going to review in the meantime, but I am looking forward to a new season. Bye.